Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of GM's Corner. Today I have with me Mark Lammi from Westhaven Golf Club. He's a PGA General Manager there. Welcome, Mark.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate you having me.
Thanks for joining us. Mark, I'd just like to give you the opportunity to tell us a little bit about your background, how you landed at Westhaven, how your PGA background and experience has guided your journey through your career to get there.
Absolutely. Thanks. I started out as a golf professional my whole life, essentially. I grew up in the business, worked since I was 13 years old at golf courses, besides umpiring baseball and being a banquet server at Penn State when in the dead of winter. It's about all I've ever known. And so I worked my way through the professional golf management program at Penn State, graduated from that program back in the 90s. And at that point, I knew for sure I didn't want to go down your typical blue blood, traditional golf professional role, teaching, playing. That just wasn't going to be me. That's not what I really felt empowered to do. And so I started working right away towards working with management companies, which I worked early with Billy Casper Golf Management. When they were up and coming at that point, they only had 20 properties. Now they're owned by Troon, but right before that, they had hundreds. Spent some time in Ohio at a place called Shaker Run Golf Club as a PGA General Manager, big 27-hole daily fee facility, and then spent a lot of years at Reynolds Plantation in Georgia. And that's really where I learned big company management, whether that be starting as a head professional and seeing it from the outside and then becoming director of golf, overseeing 6.5 golf courses, vice president of golf, and left there in 2017.
Small task.
Yeah, no, it was 20 plus golf professionals on my team, directors of retail, and so I learned how to manage really, really big teams, but only specific to golf. Left there, went out to Big Cedar Lodge in Missouri for a short period of time as director of golf. But at that point, my wife and I wanted to get back east a little bit, but I just felt like I was getting more and more removed from the member experience and the golfer experience. And so I had the opportunity at Westhaven, small at that point, private golf-only club, to be the general manager, where instead of running a really big golf operation, I could run a smaller club, but oversee everything and really be able to put my fingerprints on not only golf, but food and beverage, golf course maintenance, marketing, everything all the way through, while continuing to maintain that really tight connection with the membership, which was awesome.
Westhaven is a unique club. You're in a unique situation where it's a golf club. It doesn't have a pool. It doesn't have all these other amenities that a country club might have because the community has them.
Right.
Because of the community, you have a membership that's trending younger.
We are.
What are those members asking for, first? And secondly, what are you seeing in the future that you need to bring to continue to appeal to these members and grow your membership?
Well, I think first and foremost, there's similarities to what our more traditional members have asked for, and then there's differences, right? So starting with the similarities, and it's one thing we can never lose focus on, especially at a golf club or golf course conditions, because no matter how cool I make something or how great an experience might be, if the greens aren't good, or if the tee boxes aren't right, or if the bunkers are bad, it just blows everything up. So we've got to maintain, regardless of whatever the next generation wants on a golf experience, we've got to maintain the idea that course conditions are our number one asset, and we have to make sure that they're good, regardless of anything else. Now you get to the different side. The one thing that we see a lot of with our newer members, to give you an example too, just in age-wise, so our average age member is 54, but over the last 3 years, our members came in at 50, are now 50, right? So our average age of our last 3 years worth of members is 50. Our average age is 54. So it's definitely trending younger. I mean, 4 years difference is a lot, especially when you have that sprinkled in with some retirees that are in their 70s. If you take them out, we're actually probably closer to 45. So that's a really big change. And, over the last 3 years, golf has become cool. Again, as I said earlier, I don't know, maybe it's again, maybe it's for the first time, I don't know. Yeah, it's always been cool for me. People would disagree with that. But so the question is, how do we harness that interest from that age group coming in, our 30-year-olds? We have members that are highly successful, live in Westhaven, that are in their late 20s, that are playing golf now for the first time. So a lot of these, I'll call them kids, did not grow up in the club world. They didn't start as a junior member at a club and then become a 23-year-old and become a member, and then their family came in. This is their first club experience, so they don't know what to expect. So what they're asking for beyond the course conditions is, how do we create an experience that creates community all the time? And the way that they create community is a lot different than the way my generation, my dad's generation created community. They create community through phones, they create community through postings, and they do that not just to be on their phone, like old people like me would say is a problem, but that's the way they connect with their friends. Their friends might be 3 holes over, and they're sending pictures back and forth. So that's the one thing I think that is really important that we look at is, how do we make sure that any policies, procedures that we have in place are there for the right reasons to maintain the traditions of the game and maintain the traditions of a club, but not hinder those new members from feeling like they belong.
Have you seen a controversy of the music on the golf course?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And when I got to Westhaven 6 years ago, we were pretty progressive on that. I mean, we had members that would play music all the time. And we actually had to put policies in place because for tournaments, somebody might get paired up. You know, you may say, I don't want music on. I go, I don't care. I'm going to put my music on. We had to have a policy to at least be able to police that a little bit, besides saying, come on, just be reasonable about it. Just play it low enough that nobody else can hear it and you'll be fine. I love music on the golf course. I think it just adds to the overall experience. And the USGA finally agreed, and they allow it for the most part. But yes, we have plenty of members that aren't very fond of it. We're a very open golf course, especially portions where we have no homes on our golf course. So you can hear music 3 holes over if it's turned up loud enough. And so we're always trying to battle volume levels. We have the Visage system where we can control the volume, but they still bring their private speakers. So that one's always going to be a challenge, but I think it's a necessary thing on a golf course, is allowing music, allowing, even now they have TVs. When it gets to March Madness, I will assure you there'll be plenty of our Visage cards that have the games going on while the members are out playing, where at some clubs that may not be acceptable. At a club like Westhaven, that should be embraced.
I think that's a trend that a lot of people should follow, and I think that's a great idea. We talked a little bit earlier about you're trying to capture this moment in time where golf is cool again, depending on how you look at it, but trying to capture this moment and capture those members who otherwise maybe would never have chosen to join a golf club. Can you talk a little bit more about how you're capturing them?
Yeah, I think from a general statement, we try to create as much emotional stickiness as humanly possible. So we do that through how many personal preferences that we know of, how many times do we go out of our way to take care of them, how do we show empathy towards them if they've got a situation going on in their life that we may have a policy that says you can't do this or you can't go on a leave, but if they've got a really clear rationale for having to do it and they've got troubles in their life and they're willing to share that with us, that we're empathetic to that and we help them along. So I think number one, just continuing to create a way that, I like to say, results in them making irrational decisions, where maybe it's not the right time for them to be a member at the club or come out one more time for dinner, but man, that last time was just incredible and we have to go one more time. So the more we can lock into them and not have it be transactional, but have it be more emotional, that's number one. Number two is continuing to look out ahead from a technology standpoint, from anything that makes me as a traditional golf professional feel uncomfortable in my space, we need to be considering. We're not going to put scooters on the golf course, thank God. That's a thing that kind of came and went. But are there other ways that we can make the walking experience better, because health is becoming a more important thing for it? Can we look for more ways to engage their kids, where we have one member that he hooks up his baby carrier in the golf cart
Really?
And takes their infant out on the golf course on Sunday afternoons.
Man, I missed that opportunity. That would have saved me.
Yeah.
saved me many strokes in my handicap.
Oh yeah, and there might be some places that would look at that and go, we don't allow that. You can't have that child. We're like, that's awesome. We take pictures and, we give him high fives when he goes out. So those folks didn't grow up in clubs. That if someone grew up in a club, they would have never ever thought about doing that. But they don't know that it's not something that was traditionally unacceptable to put a baby carrier on a golf cart and go play golf. So why would we tell them now, like, no, you can't do that, just because that was a rule at some point? We make sure that it's during a time period that there's not a lot of golf balls flying around, no one's going to get hurt, baby's not crying, they're sleeping, they probably enjoy the ride. So, you ask about how do we make sure that we harness it, it's by looking at things like that and getting squishy with some of those rules to where we're comfortable moving around a little bit, going, okay, that makes good sense. That seems like that's really something that's going to make your world as a new parent better. Come on out.
Pushing the envelope a little bit.
Yeah, very much so.
So tell me about some of the plans that you have in the future, hopefully, or not so distant future, for to improve your in capital investments and things like that, to improve your amenities and facilities? What do you have in store?
So we have over 900 members, between 580 or so golf members and 320 dining members that only pay me to come eat in the clubhouse. So we have a 12,000 square foot clubhouse. So we're tight on space already, but I have to serve that brand new member with their kids all the way up to my 65-year-old, 70-year-old member that wants the finest dining experience, all in the same space. So we're looking at adding some more casual dining opportunities. We're trying to connect the dining experience with the golf experience, because the clubhouse is set back a bit. At that time, the ownership wanted that. They didn't, I don't think, quite understand how important that connection was. So they wanted to create barriers between where the clubhouse was and our 18th hole was. So we're trying to connect those two pieces a little bit better. And then we're trying to become more technologically advanced. We're falling behind the curve. The clubs everywhere have simulators now. So we're trying to catch up, get some simulator space built in, but not just kind of down a hallway, but really try to create an entire experience around the simulators, fun putting courses, all of those things, so that it's not just go down the hallway and you'll find the simulator on the right and go in there and go spend 2 hours and don't talk to anybody. But again, try to create community around all of those.
A more social experience.
Yeah, that's right.
It's what a lot of people are calling off-course golf or non-green golf or something like that. So I think that's looking forward to seeing how those improvements come along.
Yeah, me too.
And I really appreciate you coming by to chat with us about
Absolutely.
this. All right. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
Mark Lammi, signing off.